So far we've used a couple of tools. We've used the Create PDF tool and we've used the Organize Pages tool. Now what I want to look at is editing the content that's actually on a page. Now personally I think if you can go back to the original Word document or PowerPoint presentation or Excel spreadsheet and make the change to the source document, it is so much more powerful in those applications as far as formatting and editing text. But if you just want to make a slight change to an actual PDF file, then you can do that using this tool, which is Edit PDF. So I'm going to click the Edit PDF tool. Of course, if the Edit PDF tool is not in your Tools pane, you can go to the Tools view and you can add the Edit PDF to your Tools pane so that it is there when you're looking at a document and you are able to edit a PDF. Now I'm going to go up to page 1 because that's the page I want to make some changes to. The idea here is that you can click on something and select a text box. There's a text box here, there's a text box here, there's a text box here, and so you click on what you want to make changes to. So on page 1, for example, I'm going to click here and I'm actually going to edit the text. This should say an overview of the growth trends and operating costs in the European Union markets. So you can easily edit the text. Now what about changing the, and you can move it, that's this mouse pointer here. So this mouse pointer is for moving. This mouse pointer, two-headed arrow, is for resizing. Let's just have a play with that. And this mouse pointer here is for rotating. So you can rotate. And this one here is undo and undo. So you can easily rotate, resize, move. And this I is when you want to insert text. Okay. So I'm going to hit the I to insert text. Now I want to select all the text in this text box. So I'm going to go Control A. And when I go Control A, I've got things on this format pane that I can choose, such as the font. If I wanted to, I could change the font, which I don't want to, but that's an option. I could change the font size, which I do want to do. I want to increase it to 24. I could change the font color, and I do want to do that. I want to go for sort of like a dark gray, maybe a bit lighter than that. I also want to make it bold, and that's what all these T's are for. This is the bold, this is the italic, this is the underline, this is the superscript, and this is the subscript. So I'm just going to choose bold. I have bullets if I wanted bullets, and numbering if I wanted numbering, and I have different types of bullets and different types of numbering. I can also align to the left, the center, the right, and even justify. But what I do want to do, and this is here, this is your line spacing, and this is your paragraph spacing. This is your text spacing, or sorry, your horizontal scaling, and this is your character spacing. I want to increase the character spacing to 1, and that just causes a little bit more space between the letters. And I just then want to move it and make sure that it clearly sits above that line. So I'm just resizing it. Maybe resize it down, move it up so it sits above, and just resize, move that over and resize this way, and then put it back down again so it sits properly. So just get used to the different mouse pointers, and that's simply by getting in amongst it and playing. Now, not only can you edit text and format text using these various options here, I'm just going to click away from that text box, but you can also add text. On page 2, no, actually this page here, I want to put on this third page some text that runs up the side saying that this is subject to change. So to add text, you've got this add text option up here in your toolbar as opposed to edit, which we've just been doing. I'll click the add text, and then my mouse looks like this. And I'll just click somewhere where there's a clearing. And I'll start typing subject to change. So I've added a text box. Now, using the format pane on the right hand side, I can now go about formatting this text. So I'll go Control A to select all the text in that text box. I've decided that I'd like to make the font Arial, so I changed the font to Arial. I've decided that I'd like to make the size 12, so I changed it to 12. I also would like to make it red, so I changed the font color to red. I'd like to make it size 12, red. I'd like to turn on the bold, turn on the italic, and turn on the underline. That's a bit questionable in terms of appearance. And I'd like to make it centered, so I choose center. And if I just resize this, you'll see that it is actually centered in the, so don't rotate, and if you do accidentally, just resize it, that mouse pointer there, and you'll see it centered. Now I want to set the line spacing to 1.5, which makes it a little bit deeper, and the paragraph spacing to 0. I want to set the horizontal scaling to 105, and I want to set the character spacing to 2, so it's more spaced out, like that. I also want to rotate, so I might actually just use this option here and rotate it. Oops. Now I need to go to Edit, click the box and then rotate it. And so you can rotate it, say 90 degrees. And then I want to move it and just put it alongside of the table, so it's sitting along there. So you can rotate it and you can move the text box. And I'm just going to save the file, so I'm going to hit my save button, which is just here, or Control S, to save the file and the fact that I've added some text. So we've looked at editing text and we've looked at adding text. The other thing is we need to just understand fonts and how they carry with this document. I'm just going to go into Edit and I'm going to choose Preferences. And when I do so, I can choose Page Display. And I think the important thing here is to use local fonts. So the idea is if you create a document and it is received by another machine, it will use the local fonts and substitute the fonts to the closest that match the PDF. All right, and I'm just going to go OK. And save again. Oh, it's already saved. And that's my editing and adding.